Good morning, my class. Welcome to the last week of video school. Today with me I have my Justice League friends with me. Hope they'll be my background while we're teaching for today. Today is Monday, May 18th. I hope you did your weekend homework, which was the All Things Even Frisky Chapter 9. That way we're all caught up together. And then into next week will be the last, would have been the last week of school if we were still in school, but it was mostly a fun week of cleaning out desks and doing fun stuff and playing outside and eating popsicles, but oh well, maybe you can do that at home. I don't know. Today's work is Math Speed Drill, page 122. This will be the last speed drill page that we do this year. We're doing speed drill number 1 today, and you can do that now, and when you're ready, take out math page 324 from your math book. Oh boy, we got an easy peasy page today. Something a little new, but not hard. Now, we've done clocks for a long time, and we know that we always do the hour hand first, which is the small hand. If it's between two numbers, we always go to the before number. So if it's between 6 and 7, it goes to the 6. If it's between 11 and 12, it goes to the 11. So that's how hours go. Now, minutes, we did almost everything we can do with the minutes. Almost. We're going to learn the very last little bitty thing about minutes today. Usually when we go around the clock, we count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, around the clock. Well, what we didn't do is we never talked about those little tiny lines in between the fives. And those lines, we count by ones. Just like if you remember temperature, we count by tens for temperature, like 60, 70, 80, 90. But in the little tiny between lines, we count by twos. It's kind of like that, except for with clocks, we have counting by fives, and the in-between lines counting by ones. Let's do a few together and get the hang of it. On top of your paper, we have, we start with an easy one that's pointed right at a number. So we have the hour hand between the 1 and the 2, which means go back to the 1. So 1 is our hour. And then the minute hand's on 9, which is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So 145 is our first one. Now, we didn't need to use the counting by ones lines yet, because that was right on the number. But the next one, we will. So we have our hour first. It's between the 5 and the 6. So our hour is 5, because it goes back to the one before, ... Now, the minute hand is past the 2. It's not on the 2, it's past the 2, just a tiny bit, pointing to the first tiny line past the 2. So 5, 10, and then we got to count one more for that tiny line, so 11. So our time is 5, 11, because we counted by fives till we get to the 2, and then ding, one more for that extra little line. That's how we do it. That's all. Next one, we have the hour hand between the 3 and the 4. So our hour is 3, ... Our minute hand is one tick, one little line past the 4. So we got to count by fives till we get to the 4. 5, 10, 15, 20. That gets us to the 4. And then we got to one little more, and that makes 21. So our time is 3, ... 21. Next, 5, 13. I'm going to pretend I didn't say that. The hour hand is between the 5 and the 6. So the hour is 5. It goes back to the one before, 5, ... Now, the minute hand stops between the 2 and the 3, right in the middle on the third line. So we got to count by fives till we get to the 2, 5, 10, and then we got to count 3 more lines, 11, 12, 13. So it's kind of like counting by nickels and then counting by pennies, because it's 5 then 1s. Or it's also like tally marks, where we count the groups of tally marks, 5, 10, 15, and then the extra ones, 16, 17, 18, however many little lines are extra. Count by 5s and 1s. All right, I'll do 2 more with you, and I'll let you do the rest of the page on your own. Next, we have the hour hand between the 7 and the 8. in the minute hand between the 2 and the 3 again, but this time it's on the 4th line. The minute hand is pointing to the 4th little line. So we had to count by 5s to get to the 2, 5, 10, and then we've got to count 4 little lines. 11, 12, 13, 14. So our time would be 7 ... 14. All right, last one together. This is a little confusing. The hour hand looks like it's pointing to the 5, but it's not quite there. You know why? Because the minute hand isn't quite to the 12 yet. It's on the very last tick, right before the 12. So, the hour hand is still 4. The hour is still 4. And it's only 1 minute away from 5 o'clock, so it's super close to the 12. So we got to count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. That gets us to the 11. And then we got to count by 1s, 4 more. So 56, 57, 58, and 59. And that's the last tick before it turns to the next o'clock. Why 59? Because guess how many minutes are in an hour? Ding, you got it. 60 minutes in an hour. So that means 59 is the minute right before it goes to the next hour. In 1 more minute, that clock would say 5 o'clock, because the hour hand will be right on the 5, the minute hand will be right on the 12. So it's almost to 5 o'clock. Now, go ahead and do the last 2 in the orange row and the rest of the red row on your own. At the bottom, you're kind of doing the same thing, except for doing it backwards. They tell you what the time is, and you draw in the hour hand and the minute hand for the bottom ones. So, go ahead and pause the video, take your time and do your clocks. When you're ready, flip it to the other side. Alright, here we are on page 323. Number 1, write the sums and differences. Here we have a mix of addition and subtraction questions. Make sure you do them carefully. Borrow when you need to borrow, carry when you need to carry. Make sure you have your columns lined up. 1s, 10s, 100s. Also, one of those answers in number 1 is a thousands place answer, so make sure it gets a comma between the hundreds and the thousands place. When you're ready, let's do number 2 together. Number 2, round to the nearest dollar. Something we've been working on lately. When we round to the nearest dollar, we got to figure out which dollar comes before, which dollar comes after, and then decide which one it's closest to by looking at the cents. $7.35. Well, $7.35 is between $7 and $8. Which one is it closest to? Is the 35 cents below 50 cents or above 50 cents? And you decide, should it round to $7 or $8? $7.50 is also between $7 and $8, and it's exactly in the middle, because 50 cents is the exact middle of each dollars. So $7, $7.50, $8. And what do we do when it's exactly in the middle? We go up to the higher number. And make sure each of these answers gets a dollar sign and a dot, because these are dollar sign answers. Last one, $7.85. Once again, it's between $7 and $8. Is 85 cents closer to $8 or closer to $7? Is 85 cents more than 50 cents or less than 50 cents? So round it to the dollars it should be at. Number 3, circle 1/3 of the voles. Voles live under the snow during the winter in Denali National Park. Okay, here's how we find 1/3. 1/3 anyways. We divide it by 3. So count how many voles are all together. Did you count the number? Divide that number by 3, and that will tell you what 1/3 is of that number, because you can separate it into 3 equal groups of that number. Circle 1/3 of the voles, and that's it for number 3. Number 4, write the Roman numerals in the caribou tracks. Here we have some caribou tracks. That poor caribou, his front legs got chopped off and his whole back half of his body got chopped off, and he looks so sad. You could draw him new legs if you want to. but not right now. All right, we have IV, XXV, CC, XXX, and L. Now, C, if you remember, is worth 100, so there's 2 C's there. And L I'll give you for free, 50, because we didn't practice L very much. Okay, I'll say that. The rest of them you should know how to do. Number 5. Ben has 10 nickels saved in his bank. How much money does he have? Well, if he has 10 of them, that tells us how many groups. We have to figure out what we're to multiply by how many's in each group, or how much each nickel is worth. How much is a nickel worth? Not going to tell you. So 10 groups of how much a nickel's worth equals our answer. And make sure you put a cent sign for it, because it's a money answer. How much money does he have? Ben has 10 nickels, 10 groups of how much a nickel is worth. So we're going to make a multiplication question or a sentence for that. Nathan has only nickels in his bank. He has 40 cents. How many nickels does he have? Well, this time we got to start with the 40 because we're going to make a divide question. Because we're going to find out how many nickels he has by using how much money he has altogether. So put 40 at the beginning. Divide by how much a nickel is worth, equals how many nickels. Now this time we're not putting a cent sign or a dollar sign. We're putting our answer, 45 divided by how much a nickel's worth, equals blank nickels. Nickels is our label for that one. Not dollars or cents, nickels. All right, number 7. Jessie gave 2 pieces of candy to each of her 3 friends. How many pieces did she give away? Well, she has 3 friends. 1 friend, another friend, another friend. 3 friends. She gave each of them 2, 2, and 2. 2 pieces of candy. So we can do 2 plus 2 plus 2, or even better, 3 groups of 2. Here's a group of 2, here's a group of 2, here's a group of 2. She gave each of her friends 2 candies. 3 groups of 2. And what do we do with groups? You guessed it, we multiply. 3 groups of 2 equals how many pieces? Pieces is our label. If you don't know how to spell pieces, it has E in brownie and city in it, and as in peaches, and it's in your question there where it says how many pieces. If you need to hear me say anything again, please feel free to rewind it back and listen to me say it again. When you're ready and finished with the page, you can pause the video and come back, and then we'll do phonics language together. Sorry if it seems like I'm in a hurry today. I'm in a little bit of a hurry. I have some stuff I need to get done today, some responsibility stuff, and I don't have as much time as I hope to have. So today on phonics language, we're on 315, sorry. Looking at the wrong page. Alright, we're talking about the entry words. The words listed in the dictionary are called entry words or entries. So when you look in a dictionary, all the words that you see that have meanings beside them, they're called entries or entry words. An entry can tell you how to spell a word, how to say that word, what kind of word it is, what it means, and how to use the word correctly. So dictionaries can tell us lots of things about words. The meaning, how to pronounce it, how to spell it, and what part of speech it is. Like, is it a noun, or is it a verb, or an adverb, or an adjective, or one of those. So those are things that dictionaries usually tell us. Here we have some entries for a dictionary. A mayor. If you don't know what a mayor is the leader of a town or a city. If you live in a town or a city, which some of you might, there's probably a mayor. A mayor is like a small version of a governor or a president. Although a president is over a whole country and a governor is over a state, a mayor is over just the town or city that they live in. So the mayor is a noun, and it says the leader of a city. And the little thing at the end is called parentheses. It says mayor, and I know there's an upside down E there. It's just a way to show how to pronounce letters sometimes because you can't show how to pronounce things, you can't show sounds on paper. So M, long A, silent E, or mayor. Instant is also a noun. Happening quickly. Instant. There's an upside down E again. Synonyms. Moment, flash, or jiffy. Synonyms means words that mean almost the same thing or pretty close to the same thing. That's what synonym means. And dictionaries often have synonyms. Words that mean almost the same thing. So instant means almost the same as moment, or flash, or jiffy. Couple. Now, we had that for a vocabulary word this year, couple. Couple is a noun, two objects that are similar. Except in our spelling book, it said two things. Okay? Let's see here. Synonyms, pair, a set, a team. Those are some words that mean almost the same as a couple. A pair or a set or a team. Delay. That's a verb. It says verb right there. To make late. So if you delay someone, like maybe if you're riding a bus to school and there's a car crash, there's going to be a delay. That means it slows you down from getting to school and you might be late to school. To make late, delay means to stall. Synonym is to stall. And moist is an adjective. It means slightly wet. Synonym, damp. Antonym, dry. Remember antonyms? Antonyms are words that are opposite. So the opposite of moist would be dry, but damp would mean almost the same as moist. Oh my word. My allergies this morning. My throat's getting all weird. I should have took a pill. Look at the entry words above. We're going to answer these questions about the words mayor, instant, couple, delay, and moist that we just talked about. Which of these entries would you find first? So, in ABC order, would you find mayor, instant, couple, delay, or moist? Look at the beginning letter of each word. Write in the blank which one of those would be first in the dictionary. Second paw print question. Which of these entries would you find last? So look at the words again, look at the first letter of each word, and decide which one of those words would be last in a dictionary or last in ABC order. All right, next paw print question. Which of the three entries, write the three entries that are nouns. Now look back at the top, look at the parts of speech. Right after the word, it tells you what part of speech it is. Noun, verb, adjective, adverb, and a couple other ones we didn't learn yet. And write in those three blanks the three of them that are nouns. That means persons, places, or things, of course. Next paw print. Write the entry that is an adjective. Oh, if I'm going too fast, pause the video. Or if you need to go back, you know what to do, rewind it. I know I remind you of this all the time. I just don't want you to forget that even if I go fast, which I don't mean to, you're always welcome to pause it or take as much time as you need. Write the entry that is an adjective. One of those words at the top is an adjective. It tells us right there after it. Next, choose a synonym to write in the blank. Now, a synonym is a word that means almost the same. Uncle Max has a blank of hunting dogs. Well, it says couple underneath, so let's look up at couple. And at the very end of that sentence, it says three synonyms. Pick one of those synonyms for couple and put that on that line. That's a synonym for couple, a word that means almost the same. Next one. Olivia was so hungry that her lunch was gone in an instant is the word at the bottom. So look at instant at the top and write in one of the synonyms at the end of the row. There are three of them. All you have to do is pick one. Any of them will work in that sentence because they mean the same as instant. Okay, when you're ready, we'll do dictation at the bottom. Some of the words in this sentence are already there for you, so you don't need to write those. But I'm going to say the rest of the sentence, and I want you to fill in the rest. Excuse me. Little mice nibbled olives politely and quietly. Little mice nibbled olives politely and quietly. Remember, quietly ends with "ly" and slowly, so that should be easy at the end. And quiet is the root word. Little mice nibbled olives politely and quietly. That's a weird sentence, but oh well. Okay, pause your video to finish this page. When you're ready, flip it over to the other side. Okay. Number 1, read the sentences. Underline the subject once and the verb twice. Draw a line between the subject and the predicate of each sentence. Now, all we're going to do is underline the subject once, then the verb twice. We're not going to underline the whole predicate that goes all the way to the end of the sentence. We're just going to draw a line between after we underline the noun and the verb. We'll do a couple together. I'll let you do the rest. Jacob's family visited Arches National Park this spring. Well, who's doing the action? The family. So underline family once. What's their action? Visited. Underline visited twice. Draw a line between. Jacob's family visited Arches National Park this spring. Family is the action, is the subject. Oh my word, my mouth. And visited is the action they did. They arrived early to find a good camping spot. Well, what's the subject? It's they. They is the one doing the action. And what's their action? Arrived. Excuse me. So underline they once and arrived twice, and then draw a line between they and arrived. I'll read you the rest of the sentences, and I want you to finish underlining the subjects or subjects. It could be one or two subjects one time, and then underline the verbs 2 times. Draw a line down the middle. Jacob and Ashley saw landscape arch. Now that one has 2 subjects, so be careful. Jacob and Ashley saw landscape arch. That arch stretches across 360 feet like a giant bridge. Ashley thought balanced rock was amazing. That rock weighs about 3,577 tons. That's a lot. So you can pause it, finish part 1, go on to part 2. Number the names of these stone arches in ABC order. So tunnel arch, island arch, delicate arch, saddle arch, and landscape arch. Now, the good thing is they already gave you the first one. They put a 1 beside the first one. So you have to do 2, 3, 4, 5. Number them in ABC order. The other good thing is all of these have different beginning letters, so you don't have to look at the second letter for any of these. Excuse me. Number 3, use proofreader's marks. That means a little ding ding to add apostrophes to the sentence. The only thing you're going to be adding to these sentences is apostrophes. That's those hooky things on top. We usually use apostrophes for belongs to, like possessive words, like Steve's club. We also use apostrophes for contractions. When we put 2 words together, like had not becomes hadn't. We put an apostrophe where the O used to be. Oh my word, I'm losing my voice. All right, we'll do a couple together. I'll let you do the rest on your own. Jacob's mom made delicious apple dessert in a heavy pan. Oh, by the way, it says not every sentence needs an apostrophe. So there might be a sentence or 2 or 3 that doesn't need an apostrophe. So we're only going to put them where they're needed. Jacob's mom made delicious apple dessert in a heavy pan. Well, this sentence does need an apostrophe somewhere because something belongs to someone. Well, mom belongs to Jacob. So put a little right right between the B and the S and put an apostrophe between the B and the S for Jacob's. Jacob's mom. Mom belongs to Jacob. Jacob and Ashley hadn't seen food cooked this way. I see apostrophe in that sentence. We have a contraction. The word hadn't is had not. So, we put an apostrophe where the O used to be, and down below hadn't, put a little proofreader mark where it should go. Mom set the pan of apples in the boat. Mom set the pan of apples in the hot coals of the campfire. I don't see any apostrophes in that sentence. Nope, no belongs to, no contractions. Now, I'm going to read you the rest of the sentences, then you can do them on your own. Jacob's family thinks she's a wonderful cook. Now, there are 2 apostrophes in that sentence, so be careful. Jacob and Ashley didn't forget to thank Mom for their sweet treat. They're glad to help clean up after dinner. It's fun to eat outside. So each of those sentences definitely gets an apostrophe. One of them gets 2 apostrophes. There's only one sentence that didn't get any apostrophes. That was the mom set the pan of apples one. Okay, so pause your video. When you're ready, open to writing, or get your writing out. Man, my throat. Page 66. All right, here is today's. We got a green truck. We got cursive U's for warm-ups today, so trace along those lines for each one of those. We have capital G, small g, so trace those. Then write your own capital G, small g where that red dot is. Capital G, small g again. Finish the row on the red dots. We have capital H, small h. Trace it, write it, trace it, write it, rest of the row. Then we have the word hope, the word gift. Then we have 2 sentences. Greg rode in the big green truck. He had a good time. So you're going to write those sentences on the lines down here. If you'll notice, there's no dotted lines in the middle, so you'll have to imagine where those small letters should stop as they go up. Let's quickly go up to the board, review cursive G's and H's before we move on. Got some lines ready today. Got the marker ready. All right, capital G goes up, down to the bottom, and back across. Up, down to the bottom, back across. One more. Up, down to the bottom, back across. Very good. All right, capital H. This is one of those ones that isn't all one motion. You got to stop and do another one. So we go around and down, stop there, move over here, down, up, and loop. Around and down, move over, down, bounce up, and loop out. One more. Around and down, move over, down, bounce up, and loop out. And there we go. Capital H's, capital G's. Go ahead and work on your cursive writing. I'm going to get myself a little drink as my throat's feeling kind of dry. Let's see here. All right, when you're ready, let's quickly go over your science and your reading for today. Science, more about bees, 75 to 79. All right, we're going to learn about how bees keep cool in the summertime, and this page is called the bee's air conditioner, which is not an air conditioner like you might have at home in the summertime that you turn on and keeps your house cool. They have to use their wings as a team to create their own air conditioner. It's more like they have their wings and they fan the air to make the air move to keep themselves cool. Otherwise, they might get too hot. On the next page, the bee's heater, the opposite of an air conditioner. And it tells you how they use their wings in a different way to keep themselves warm when it's cold outside. Because bees have to survive the winter too, so they have their own heater that God gave them. How do they know how to do it? I don't know. God just gave them instincts to know how to do it. All right, page 77, the bees work together. They have to. If bees didn't work together, they couldn't survive. Now, some bugs and insects and spiders, well, they like to work alone, and they work best alone. You know, but bees and ants, those are the kind of bugs that they need each other to survive. Page 78, we're finishing up bees there, and on page 79, there's a picture of what it looks like to have a bee farm. I think Mrs. Dick has a bee farm kind of like this. Maybe not that many bee farm crates, but they do have that at their house. And it has some questions there, if you remember the things about bees. And then tomorrow, bees were helpful insects. Tomorrow is harmful insects. There are insects that do more bad than good. At least it seems that way. Because bees are helpful. They help plants to grow. They help make honey. They spread pollen. But some insects, well, they're just going to eat all your stuff. If you plant a garden, they're just going to want to eat all your stuff. So, tomorrow. Now, last thing of the day is all things even frisky. Now, if you did your reading over the weekend, then you read chapter 9. Chapter 9 was, I think, where Frisky got lost. No, yeah, Frisky was already lost. They reviewed their special verse together, and their special verse was, all things work together for good to them that love God. Now, that's one of our verses we learned in school this year. In our story, we're learning about kind of how that works a little bit. Even if we don't believe that all things work together for good, as long as we love God, guess what? He's going to make things work together for good, for His good, and often for our good too. All right, chapter 10 today is called the newspaper ad. Frisky's still missing. Billy's still sad. Uncle John's trying to convince Billy, or tried to convince Billy, that maybe God has a plan for all this. You know, maybe has a plan for, Aunt Kate and Frisky not getting along so well. Maybe he has a plan for even Frisky getting lost. It seems, and everything that goes along in our story, it's going to turn out that God has a plan for that. Pretty weird. Anyway, chapter 10 is called the newspaper ad. Before we had the internet, which was when this book was written, if someone was missing something, they would have to put an advertisement in the newspaper in the one ad section or the missing section, and it would say, missing, maybe lost wallet, brown colored, and it will say how much money was in it or whatever. And if someone saw that in the newspaper and they found that wallet, they'd be able to return it to the person it belonged to because there would be an address or a phone number there. Now we don't need to do things like that because we have email and Facebook. So if someone has found something that's missing, they'll just post it up online, and then maybe someone who is the owner will find it. Well, same idea, but a newspaper ad is what they decide to put out to see if they can find Frisky, see if anyone's seen him. Some ideas for this chapter are consideration. Though Aunt Kate is not fond of dogs, she still helps Frisky for Billy's sake. Because she cares about Billy. She may not be best friends with Frisky, but she does care about Billy's feelings. Friendliness. Aunt Kate plans to bake cookies and take them to the new neighbors to make them feel welcome. If you get someone new in your neighborhood, maybe you've seen someone, or maybe someone in your family, brought something to them to make them feel welcome. Or maybe someone came to your house when you first moved in to make you feel welcome. Appreciation. Billy is learning to appreciate the things that Aunt Kate does for him. Some words that you're going to see in this chapter are gust, which is a blast of wind. Reluctantly means unwillingly or not really wanting to do it. Mental means things related to your brain. Mused means thought about carefully. A big word, acquainted, means you met someone. Unattended means no one's taking care of it. And a terrier is a variety of small dogs. Frisky is a terrier kind of dog. With Frisky still missing, Billy can't concentrate on his schoolwork. He's too worried about his puppy. Where could he be? But Billy's learning that God will answer his prayers when the time is right. Billy's teacher, Miss Wilson, has an idea to help Billy find Frisky. But so does Aunt Kate. In the chapter today, you're going to find out what those ideas are. All right, that's chapter 10. Tomorrow, More Trouble Ahead is our chapter. So, enjoy your reading. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.